Back down here. Go. Go. Back down. Go. Go. Back down. Go. Go. Back down. Go. Go. Back down here. Peep peep, what's up ninjas? My name is Semworld and today I'm going to tell you guys the key to a good G-House drop. There's going to be a couple of hacks here that you guys can utilize to maybe start working on G-House if you've ever wanted to get into it, and today I'm going to teach you how to do it. Let's do this. But hold up, before we get started, let me say congratulations to today's feedback stream winner. I think his name is Edwin or David or something along those lines. He made an amazing hardstyle song that everyone liked on the stream. Like about 400 people were live and everyone voted for his track. We had other contenders as well that did amazing, but today he won. This is his track right here. You can hear it in the background. But now let's get straight into this tutorial. Alright guys, so the first key to a good G-House drop is to keep it very simple. One of the biggest mistakes I see a lot of new beginners make in G-House is that they'll have something like, like moving hella fast like that, and that doesn't make any sense because G-House is a very conformed genre. It tends to be a lot more rhythmic and it doesn't tend to move around a lot. So the first hack I'm going to teach you is going to be to try and keep your melody between the badass notes. And I call them the badass notes because they're going to sound badass no matter what order you're playing them in. So the badass notes are going to be, let's say we're in the G minor scale, it's going to be the G. We're going to go up a semitone. There you go. And then it's going to be the fifth, which is the D. And it's also going to be that C sharp. Those are going to be the badass notes right there. We can also go up to the D sharp. I can't reach it because I'm using my keyboard. But mainly, if you use that, you should be able to get something very good. Again, keep it very simple. Alright guys, and here we have our drop. Now, again, we're keeping it very simple. Nothing crazy, just keeping it between two notes. If I wanted to, I could follow the rule of the badass notes and be like, well, I know this is going to work as well up here. Okay, so we're just going to keep it the way we had it. I really do like what we had. It's very groovy. And at the end, we're adding this kind of variation to it so it doesn't sound too repetitive. Back down here. Now, the next key are going to be the drums, and it all depends on what kind of bass you want to have in your track. So the first thing that is very important is going to be the kick. So for this, we're going to be utilizing, again, the Confessions Revolution Volume 2 pack. The preset also came from that pack, and we're going to use it to grab a kick. Now, for this pack, what we did is we sampled the 909 drum machine, which is very popular for techno-style sounds. Also, a lot of future bounce tracks tend to use that. And it comes with the Confessions Revolution Volume 2 pack. And we can use one of those kicks or we can use one of the digital kicks that we applied in the pack. And I think I'm going to go with that with a key of D sharp. And we do have it right here, so we're going to use that kick there. And this is the way it's going to sound. And we're just going to duplicate that across. Now, drums are a very important part of G-House because without drums, it's not going to sound the way we want it to. And a lot of times when people start working on a drop, I tell them, you might want to have the drums there because you don't know if the drop is going to be good until you have that rhythm of the drums, okay? So what we're going to be doing here is just having the kick, and now we're going to be making our own drum pattern out of claps and hats that we're going to get. The first thing we're going to do is add some claps that are just going to go on the beat, like pretty standard stuff that you guys already know of. So let's just get some 909 style hat claps on this. This one is really nice and punchy, just what we need. And we're just going to drop that in here. There we go. And now we're going to add the drum pattern here is going to be very simple. And I think the more simple you keep it, the better. But of course, you can get a little bit crazier. Next thing, we're going to use our open hats. So let's see if we can find one here. If not, we can make our own, but we should have open hats. There we go. This is the one we want. We're just going to drop that here. And after, the first fill, after, 8 bars here, we have a little fill that's going to happen here. And then we're going to have the claps come in. So same pattern of bass here. And then we're just going to have it on the off beats, which is going to allow us to do this. There we have this pattern. We're just going to consolidate that together. Now let's just level this off properly. -6 for the kick, clap and so down. And that's the way we're going to have it for right now. And now we can also add percussion. So let's see what kind of percussion we can add on there. All right, so here let's try and add some rim shots. I like this one because it has that kind of delay to it. And we can add that there. Just lower volume on that. Let's see if we can add one more thing. I don't think we can add toms, and I don't think we can add a snare. Maybe a ride. We can try that. And make it shorter here. So we're just going to use this to shape this. So we can click show fades in Ableton to get this really cool kind of thing here. And we can just do this. Maybe we can have it here. Nah, I don't like the way that sounds. Let's try this here. Alright, so let's check it out. Alright, cool. Now, I think I'm going to want the hats to just come in maybe over here at the halfway mark. So it doesn't sound so empty getting to where we need to get to, which is this fill here. Alright, cool. And now the next step of doing this is we're going to add a bit of effects to get a good G-House drum. Alright guys, so the next thing we can do is look at this and see where we can add extra flavor to the track. Maybe adding a little bit of a washout reverb. We can use Endless Smile for that, or the, bass clef washout. Maybe we can add another sound that's gonna help in making this sound a little bit more flavorful. So one of the things we can do is, for instance, if you look at this last note here, it's this one, the D sharp, the E, and the E. We can maybe cut that out for another sound to add flavor to it. So why don't we do that? We'll just duplicate this, and then we'll just get rid of those notes on the MIDI. So now we can go in. Now, another thing that you want to do is, a lot of people make the mistake of leaving this sound or additive sound in the same location as the one we just had. So right now I had to put a mono on this one because it was kind of panning and I didn't like this bass to pan. Now this one I can make wide because this is going to be that additive. So in order to get that, maybe we can make it wide using simple delay. This is if you don't have the S1 imager or anything like that. We can use a simple Haas delay here effect to get this to sound wide. So we want that to hit on the sides, not in the center, to create this kind of feeling that the mix is fucking wide as hell. If you want that, you can add that, but I'm going to leave it the same the way we had it over here to kind of keep it going in similarity. Get rid of this, and we're just going to duplicate this across. Obviously, we have more drums coming in. We're going to add more effects to that. Now, the last thing we need to add in additive is going to be vocals. So let's see if we can find a good vocal kind of phrase to go with this drop.
Bring it back down here. Girl, bring it back down here.
All right, so let's add maybe this vocal here.
Girl, bring it back down here.
Now let's add some kind of cool vocal kind of chops to this so that we can get kind of flavorful here. Well, the way we can do this is we're just going to drop this vocal in here. We're going to pick certain parts that we want.
Girl, bring it.
So I think girl is pretty cool, so we can kind of cut that part out here. So let's just move that. And let's get the just like...
Girl. Girl.
Or maybe we can have this here.
Girl.
No, let's try.
Girl.
Let's do offbeat.
Go.
And then let's get rid of that. Let's see if we can do something there.
Go. 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 Here.
Add that there.
Go. Go. Here.
Okay, let's see. We can get a little bit crazier with this.
Go. Here. Go.
Let's add this here, maybe to give it a little bit of swing there.
Go. Here. Go. Here. Go. Here. Go. Go. Here. Go.
We want to go with the drum pattern as well. We got to treat these vocal chops as if they're like kind of And then here we go into the break.
Back down here.
That's cool right there. It works really well.
Go bring it back down here. Go. Go.
And then we can add what we like to call here this fill.
Go bring it back down here. Go. Go. Back down. Go.
Now, the other thing we're going to add also effects, because effects are really going to help in bringing this together. Now, for the simplicity of this tutorial, I'm just going to have one channel, but usually you want to have a channel for the downlifter, the uplifter, and all that. I'm just kind of lazy, you could say that. So let's find some effects that we can do here. Downlifters. Kind of like this one here. We're going to have that here.
Go. Go bring it back down here. Go. Go. Back down. Go.
All right, cool. So let's use the same one here on the drop. Now let's add also kind of like a reverse. So we'll use the short ones. We'll add that here.
Go bring it back. Go bring it back down here. Go.
We're gonna add crashes. Again, we're just adding all the additive stuff that we just need to add. It's kind of like sometimes a burden because we know it needs to go there, but it does make the biggest difference. Let's use the symbol 909.
Go bring it back. Go bring it back down here. Go. Go.
All right, cool. And then maybe we can do kind of like a reverse here as well, like a reverse kind of sweep. So for that, we're gonna use another FX here, another uplifter, a medium maybe. Now let's go with a small one. Let's try another small. That's gonna work. Let's just not use all of it, just like the only the parts we need, because that's a bit too much.
Here. Go. Go bring it back down here. Go. Go. Back down. Go. Go. Back down. Go.
So right now this is our idea without a mix. We can add another uplifter here to finish this off, maybe a long one. I lied. I'm actually gonna make another channel for my uplifter right there.
Back down. Go. Go. Back down here. Here.
There we go. And then maybe we can have this one here just to kind of have a sense of how it's gonna drop, I guess.
Go bring it back down here.
All right, guys, so now we get into the fun part, and that's going to be mixing and mastering this drop that we have here. Now, I am going to be doing this only with Ableton stock plugins. I know I made a video how to master EDM, and it's going to be very similar to that, except we're going to be going into a mixdown of this on how to do it. Now, I always get fucking like comments like, oh, why are you mix and master with like stock plugins? Again, I'm doing it with stock plugins because I know everyone has stock plugins, so please don't comment stuff like that. All right, so the first thing I want to do is first off my kick. I want to make sure it's always in mono if for these type of genres. So mono. We're also going to be putting an EQ that is going to get rid of our lows here. Usually this is enough to get the kick sounding pretty good. Let's see if we can get rid of anything here. Sounds a little bit cleaner there. Usually I do this, it's maybe bro science, but I always feel secure whenever I do this notch here in the center of the kick. Let's just not do it that much though, just a hint. All right, cool. Now, once we have the kick there, we can't really do anything much else with it. We're gonna have to sidechain everything else, okay? So the clap first we have here. And that's going to give us that nice white clap. Why do we want it that way? Because it's not in the center where the bass is most present. This lets us open up the drums because, again, we don't have a progressive house lead on the sides to worry about and all that. And it usually sounds good. You can hear this technique being done a lot in bass house and in genres like that. So make sure to check it out now and then. Here where they position the drums. All right, cool. And then we're going to have our open hat here. Let's pan this a little bit. I think we'll leave it in the center or maybe to the right.
Back down here. Go. Go.
Now let's mess with the percussion over here. Let's bring that over to the left side. Now, again, if you guys remember, drums are a very important part of having a good G-house drop. And we really need to have them stand out. So let's make sure that we have all the drums that we need here. So I think this percussion, we're missing one, I know. Where'd I put that? Oh, it's right here. Gotta make sure to name your stuff, man. All right, so we're gonna put that here. This is like another rim, I think, or whatever. The right, let's just call it a right there. Now we're gonna bus the drums, and what we're gonna be doing with them is processing them as a whole after we kind of position them in our mix. So next thing we have is this percussive hit over here. So let's see where we can place this. Alright, I don't want that in the center of the mix, obviously. So what I'm going to be doing is panning it to the right where the hats are, because this is more of a mid-low, mid-high kind of vibe. So let's see if we can get that. And then we're going to pan this one to the left. That way we have them separated. So it's kind of like, hey, what's up? That way. And then when we hear it together with the drums, as you can see, it opens it up a lot. There we go, and now we have that. We can still pan this a little bit more to the right. There we go, and let's just make sure that this doesn't have any low end, because it is going to be kind of in the wide area of our mix. There we go, and that's going to be it for that. And now we can process the drums as a whole. So what we're going to be doing first off is using a glue compressor from Ableton. I love that. And there's a preset called drum parallel, full parallel here, and this works wonders. Pretty much what's happening here is we have half the signal that is going into the compressor getting, again, just getting compressed, and the other half is just letting get go. So we still have the original file, but we have a super compressor one that we're going to do right now. There we go. And then let's add a room verb to this so that it kind of feels like there's room in it. We can use a reverb for this room, and let's just go with a small one. Usually the key with reverb is right when you hear it, that's where you want to pull back just a little bit, and then that's where you want. So do it until you can hear it. Definitely can. Go below. Can kind of hear it. Let's ease up on it. That's enough right there. And then we're just going to add a saturator here, which is going to use the hard curve. And that's going to get it really nice. Let's ease up on the dry and wet here. And then an EQ. You can put the EQ after the reverb, which is going to, again, EQ the reverb as well. And we're just going to get rid of some lows. A little bit of high. It's going to help a lot. All right, there we have that. And now I think we can do a sidechain just to the just to these guys over here, so we make sure that it's not really getting fucked by the kick, you know, like it's not getting in front of it, which I doubt it is, but either way, just be safe. Now I know a lot of you guys are gonna be like, oh, you're sidechaining with a compressor, and the reason we're doing that is because pretty much we don't have an LFO tool inside of Ableton. And again, I'm going with the idea that you guys don't either if you're using Ableton. So that's the purpose of this, okay? So we have the drums pretty much laid out pretty good. They're sounding fucking excellent. The drums are nice, just nice. And there's no master to get it loud right now. So that's a good sign that we have some good shit going with that. All right, next we have is the effects. And usually I don't touch the effects because usually when we make them, especially here, you know, we already kind of process them a bit, but we can kind of go in and just make sure there's no low end. Let's do that here as well. I'll just do that to make sure there's no low end. Let's add the fill into the drum bus. Okay. Let's get it louder. Where is that fill at? Oh, it's right here. All right, so now the next thing we need to mess with is gonna be, I guess, the percussion's here, right? Oh,
girl, bring it back down here.
Oh shit, we have the vocal in there. All right, so let's bring the vocal down. I don't know why it's in there. Holy shit! No wonder I was like, what the fuck is going on? All right, so let's have it.
bring it back down here. Go. Go. Back down. Go.
All right, cool. So we have that. We have the effects already kind of EQ'd. That's enough for them right now. We have that crash. Let's add it into the drum.
Go bring it back.
There we go. We're done.
Go bring it back down here. Go. Go. Back down. Go.
All right, cool. Let's work with the vocal chops now. Now, the vocal chops are really cool. All we're going to do to them is really just make sure they're getting sidechained and also add a little bit of processing to them. So the first thing I'm going to do is sidechain with a kick.
Go bring it back down here. Go. Here. Go.
Let's activate EQ so we only get the top of the kick.
Go bring it back down here. Go. Here. Go. Back down. Go. Here.
Let's get rid of lows we don't need.
Go bring it back down here. Go. Here. Go. Back down. Go.
It's at OTT, which is magic almost to everything you added to. I'm not lying with.
Go bring it back down here. Go. Here. Go. Back down. Go. Here. Go. Back down. Go.
Now that we'll do a reverb.
Go bring it back down here. Go. Here. Go.
Make sure it's a hall. It should be a hall usually, but let's just make sure by adding a hall. We'll go with a large hall and just reduce that.
Go bring it back down here. Go. Here. Go. Back down. Go. Here. Go.
Then maybe we can add a bit of saturation before the EQ.
Go bring it back down here. Go. Here. Go. Go bring it back down here. Go. Here. Go. Back down. Go. Here. Go. Back down. Go. Here. Go.
Now, a good sign that this is sounding good is because we haven't even sidechained the bass and it sits pretty well. Like, there's no low end problems. The low end is not going to be there in terms like very boomy because it is in the key of D sharp. Remember, the bass is going to be boomiest at F, F sharp, G, G, G sharp, A sharp, and so on. So now we're going to grab this.
Go bring it.
It's time to do our sidechain. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to look at the kick and see how it looks like. And honestly, the kick is pretty fucking big. So we're going to have to be really lenient with this. So first thing is I'm going to make the kick just a tiny bit smaller, probably to the halfway mark here. And let's see if I... Yeah, you can see there's not that much change because that low end is barely audible there. So we just want this kind of kick here because our bass is going to be very heavy. So we're going to be shaping this kick now to work with our bass because we need to know what it looks like in order to get the perfect sidechain on it, because the sidechain shouldn't last more than what the kick is lasting. That's pretty much the idea there. And if you do this properly, I promise you your kick and your bass are always going to get along. So here we have the bass, the first one. So let's go here. Let's see if we can get it. So the only part we really need to worry about the bass and the kick fighting a bit is going to be in this part here. All right. So we got to hear the kick and then the bass come in. It sounds fine to me there. All right, and then we'll do the same sidechain to the side bass, which shouldn't be that much of a problem though, because it's not hitting right when the kick hits. If you notice, it's after the kick hits almost, so we just want to make sure. It's a cool thing about having that. So let's know it's down. All right, now let's process this bass because right now it is kind of weak. So the first thing I want to add is a saturator. Let's go with maybe warm up the lows on this. Again, OTT never fails as well. All right, cool. We're gonna add like a sweep here. Don't worry about that. And now let's mess with this here. Definitely we can do a little bit more with this because it's not that bass low bass dominant, so we can definitely Get this to sound dirtier. And OTT is really gonna bring it out. Man, OTT is magic, baby. Okay, we're gonna ease up on that here a bit. Let's put the simple delay after. Okay, let's see how that sounds. Bit of reverb there. Let's see if we can add more like kind of like a sound design processing to this by adding maybe a bit of overdrive. Yeah, it's a little bit meaner there. Alright, let's ease up on that. Let's add it after the simple delay. Alright, cool there. We got that. Now, the bass is still I'm still iffy on it, but I think we can keep going with this. I wanted to add something else though. Oh yeah, sub. There we go. So we're just going to duplicate this and add our own sub here. And we're just going to get rid of the OTT, which we don't need. And then have mono and this fine there. And all we're going to do with this is just get rid of this here and just use the sub here. If you notice, there's not much low end in that. If you're on monitors, you're barely gonna be able to hear it. We can try going there. I don't know if it's gonna sound good though. Yeah, it doesn't sound right when you're up there. It's too high up. Alright, so let's EQ this properly now. We're going to go into our kick here, our bass, and we're going to EQ that bass now. We're going to go do that maybe before this right here. Let's just do it here. You can see all that low end. We don't need this. Let's do a... like around 80, I think. Let's do a notch here on 8. We're going to do another hard cut. And again, be very careful with this. So let's see how that sounds.
Bring it back down here. Go. Go. Back down. Go.
Now let's see if we add a master, if that helps in bringing everything together. So we're going to be going with a little bit of OTT love on this. We're going to bring this back now. Alright, and then we're going to use a utility. Totally forgot about this. Let's bring it down. Make sure it's hitting at -6 there, and then we're gonna use a glue compressor. Again, very, very good chain. I actually like this chain a lot. The only thing I hate about it is the limiters at the end. We just want that soft. Go, and this is really going to help there. Now let's see if we can add a bit of saturation here. We'll go with a bit warmer. Let's add an EQ. Now with the EQ, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to go into mid-side, and I'm going to do my own kind of boosting of the highs. So we're going to go into mid-side. First off, stereo, we don't want anything under, I think that's going to be under 150. I'll go 100 on this one though. And this is going to prevent anything from there being on the sides. Let's see if there's anything there, though. Not really. So there's just that there. We're just going to do this here. And then we're going to boost on the sides here. Do a high shelf to kind of separate a bit by 1 point around there. And then we go into the mono signal. We're going to reduce a little bit on the highs. Like, let's go 1 maybe. And then on the low end, we're going to boost here with number 3. We're going to put a low shelf there and then boost a little bit. I forgot the name of this technique, but it's found in Ozone, one of the presets too.
Bring it back down here. Go. Go. Back down. Go. Go. Back down. Go.
All right, cool. So now what we can do here is once we have this EQ, we can get rid of that saturator. We can try and limit, see if we need anything else, however. So let's go with 2 limiters right now and work this out. We can do 0.5 here, maybe 6, and then 3 or 1.5 to try that.
Go, bring it back down here.
Can barely hear that fucking sub, dude. Want this at 80?
Go, bring it back down here. Back down here. Go. Go. Back down. Go. Go. Back down. Go. Go. Back down.
So that's pretty loud for a G house track. Now the low end is not going to be as boomy as if we were in G. Let me show you why. Because of the key. Now if we were in the key of G here, check out that fucking low end. Now check it out here. Barely there. So here what we can do is maybe ease up on the open hats a little bit.
Go, bring it back down here. Go. Go. Back down. Go. Go. Back down. Go. Go. Back down here.
Alright guys, so I hope you guys enjoyed making this drop. I know it's not the greatest, I know it's not the best, especially because the key we're in. But the key of this is, again, to show you guys that it's very simple to get something decent going. The mix on this is very decent, very simple, as you guys can see. There's various ways we can do this. Obviously, if we use third-party plugins, it's going to be a little bit better because we can go a little bit louder with the limiter and all that. But don't let loudness rule you. This is going to be how to make a G house drop. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys next time. Then just take care and have an amazing day. Peace out.
Go, bring it back down here. Go. Go. Back down. Go. Go. Back down. Go. Go. Back down. Go. Go. Back down here.